And then Coffeezilla says Paul also admitted that he's suing him just to make his life difficult. And he says Zilla will pay one way or another. I'll make sure of it. And finally, Coffeezilla says that Paul even admits that he just wants to make Coffeezilla suffer along with anyone else he feels has wronged him. And here he attaches text where Paul says, I want people who wronged me to suffer while I continue getting wins on their grave.
I have some shocking news you're not going to believe. Logan Paul got worse. What? Your reaction right now, how can he get worse? He already has the WWE Donkey Championship of being the worst donkey in the world. His reputation is already -0. How did he get worse? I don't know, ask him. Now, as you're most probably aware, Coffeezilla is suffering from success, literally. He worked very, very hard to expose Logan Paul and, did a whole series of very successful videos. Everything went viral. Logan Paul got exposed, but that success came with a little bit of headache. Well, a lot of headache for Coffeezilla because he got sued for defamation. A very quick recap, Logan Paul came forward at the beginning and said, do you know who I am? How dare you expose me? My brother's Jake Paul. Then changed his mind. His lawyers told him, hey, you got a lot of more shit that they don't know about. Be a bigger man and apologize and just move on with your life. And Logan was like, okay, I'll be the bigger man. But then psych, he changed his mind because he's a man-child who likes to belittle people to make himself feel better. You know what I always thought? The tail looks like a penis just like wiggling around. Now that I said, you can't unsee it, can you? Helicopter, helicopter. This time Logan actually filed the defamation lawsuit, trying to make Coffeezilla lives hell. We covered it in a detailed one in a whole different video. But it was very obvious to everyone that, he's only going through with this lawsuit just to make Coffeezilla's life harder, even though Coffeezilla, came with the whole receipts and just exposed the shit out of him. It was just because his feelings were hurt. But there were no evidence of, his motives for the lawsuit. We knew it, but there was no evidence for the judge to see until Coffeezilla and his lawyer came forward just a couple of days ago, and somehow they managed to get Logan Paul's texts out of his phone that he exchanged with his friend, revealing his motives for the whole lawsuit. Meaning, Logan, bye-bye lawsuit. Coffeezilla, congratulations, you won the lawsuit. There's a 99% chance that the jury and the judge are going to shake their head to Logan Paul after this new evidence was, revealed. But let's go through the text messages. Now, if you want a more detailed video, Legal Bites made this whole thing in the first place, and she went through it piece by piece. But the evidence Coffeezilla filed was the text messages between them saying at the beginning, Paul saying, lawyering up, suing this donkey into the ground. This is after Coffeezilla was up his ass after, Logan promised to pay up $2 to $3 million back to the CryptoZoo victims, but he didn't, and Coffeezilla kept knocking on his door, and that's the time where he, got pissed. His man-child got turned on, and he decided to just lawyer up just for the sake of, putting this guy to the ground so he'll keep his mouth shut. His friend said, then everything will come out. Court docs public. Paul said, so everyone will see what happened for better or worse. Now, his friend said you're suing him to let others know that it's not worth to come at you. There is a price to pay. And Paul said that that's the idea. Need to shut it down. His friend said public humiliation is always more effective. Paul said totally agreed. For the record, I agree as well. Public humiliation is also very, very much effective. That's why we're humiliating Logan right now. It works.
And then Coffeezilla says Paul also admitted that he's suing him just to make his life difficult. And he says Zilla will pay one way or another. I'll make sure of it. And even when Coffeezilla says one of Paul's friends tries to talk him out of the idea of spending time trying to punish Coffeezilla by stating, bro, you're a billionaire, Paul responds with a petty billionaire.
And that is what I call a check and mate. Jury is going to shakalaka bomb bomb him inside that courtroom after, his words of saying, I'm just trying to do this to make his life harder, and I'm a petty billionaire as well. It's funny when he says he's a petty billionaire, where the fact that he can't even pay up $2 million that he promised out of that God knows how many millions of dollars that, was stolen from CryptoZoo. He didn't even pay up that. to his victim, to the fans. He doesn't care. He brags about how much revenue Prime brings and how much he's making money with Best Mr. Beast. But when it comes to the money that he promised people and made a whole apology video on it, said, hey, let me at least contribute and, pay a little bit to, say that it wasn't all my fault. He can't even do that. But he goes on and he brags about how much money he makes. And then, when Coffeezilla says, hey, you promised to pay up, you don't pay up, he decides to sue him, to shut him up, because he's a petty man-child. Full man-child. And the people who are still supporting him, they're blind. They're most probably, young teenagers that don't understand this shit. And once they grow up, they're like, wait, that guy was actually evil. Shit, I can't believe I used to, follow him and support him all this time. Even he's the type of person, he's not even happy for his own brother's success. He says, oh, wait, congratulations, but I'm better than you. Even in Jake Paul's boxing victory against, senior citizens, his face is not happy. I talked about him multiple times. He's never happy. He's only happy when he's at the top of the top. He needs to be better than everyone else, his family included.
You definitely sniped the Nate Diaz fight from me, and I've been so lenient in giving you your opponents, and I think it's
it's not your option to give me my opponents.
I think I'm better than you, and I think Nate chose you for a reason, and I think everyone knows that. I'm very athletic.
All that resolves into how big of a loser he is. I don't care if he has $1 billion. I don't care how much money you have. You can still be lame and have a lot of money. Look at Elon Musk.
And here he attaches text where Paul says, I want people who wronged me to suffer while I continue getting wins on their grave.
Now, Legal Bites, the person who made this video, said in her video that, from what she knows, from the information that she knows, that Coffeezilla and Logan are both trying to dismiss this whole lawsuit. I guess he realized that it's actually taking time out of and money out of his own pocket, and he doesn't feel that petty anymore. The anger they had towards him. Still a big loser. Or it can be the fact that he's scared to get exposed for wrongful defamation for filing it in the first place. I don't know what the penalties are if you trying to, sue someone for defamation and your motives are completely wrong. I don't know if you have to pay penalties for wasting that guy's, Coffeezilla's time, or if you're gonna pay for all his lawyers or pay a damage fee to him. I don't know how exactly it works, but I think it should. Honestly, the Coffeezilla's lawyers should all be paid for. He needs to even get his time wasted. I don't know how it works, honestly, but let's hope the least that Coffeezilla's lawyers are all paid for. Now, they're trying to dismiss the motion. They set the motion. The judge hasn't come back if he's going to dismiss it or not. Let's see if it actually goes through and they have to go to court again. Then the jury is 100% going to Shakalaka Boom Boom Logan after all the new evidence, all the text messages that was, come to light. But anyways, that's the latest on Logan Paul. And stay tuned for more Logan Paul worst situations, honestly, at this point. Anyways, just wanted to share that with you. You take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.